What is something that Reddit thinks is more popular than it actually is? Open marriages. People who make over $400,000 a year. TikTok trends. Most crazy TikTok trends amount to an absolutely tiny amount of people doing something stupid, but the media pumps it up for engagement and Reddit falls for it hook, line and sinker. Reddit. Their opinion. Coding. Honestly, judging from the comments, it seems 85% of Redditors are juvenile coders with zero life experience other than Netflix. Professional influencers, the people causing problems are just jerks. Boycotting big corporations. People in general don't care about what goes on behind the scenes much. They might hate greedy CEOs, but not enough to boycott. OnlyFans. Redditors act like half the 20-something women they know are on it. Reddit seems to think that the rest of the world thinks that any man in public with kids is immediately a sex pest. I'm not a father, but I asked all my friends with kids, not a single one has ever felt that way. They're just being a dad at a park or whatever. Coffee snobbery. The first time I went to a coffee, I was pleasantly surprised to be greeted by tons of coffee snob jokes and ironic posting about how you aren't a real coffee drinker unless you're down on your knees eating the beans right off the plant. Reddit. Redditors often make the mistake of believing that Reddit is actually representative of how the general population thinks, an assumption which implies that most people are on Reddit. Divorce. Reddit go-to solution to any sort of conflict within a marriage. An average user's outrage regarding third-party apps. Polyamorous relationships. Flat earthers. Self-diagnosing and using mental illness as a get-out-jail-free card. For most of us, the last thing we want is for our behavior to be dismissed as a mental health episode, even if we're in the wrong. Most of us hold ourselves accountable and make efforts to apologize and feel ashamed of the things we've done, even if we might not have had much control over it. On the flip side, identifying your mental illness as the facilitator of your reckless, selfish, abusive actions isn't the same as using it as an excuse and is actually a pretty vital step in managing it. Gaslighting. But I believe that's because so many people on here don't know what it really is. Most of the opinions here. I see a lot of really strong opinions on here that lean a particular direction. If I just lived on Reddit, I would think most humans thought like this. In the real world, most normal people don't actually believe what the neckbeards and trolls yell so loud. That guy's dead wife. Avatars. I can't believe they charge money for anything related to them. Hating children. The Kardashians. Literally the only place I hear about them is on Reddit. Living in urban apartments. Not driving. Hating lawns and suburbs. Not wanting children. Garage door springs. People that worship the Kardashians. Literally everyone I've ever spoken to doesn't care at all about them. Yet so many Redditors are convinced they are the sole voice of reason in a sea of mindless sheep Kardashian worshippers. I'm betting eating ass. But I'll never know because I'm a hairy fucker who would never let anyone go near there with their tongue. Communism. Hating having children. Pineapple on pizza. IDK where the hell the hate came from, but I see it all the time. Hawaiian pizza was invented in the 1960s. I remember eating Hawaiian pizza as a millennial in the 1990s. No one had a problem with it. But all of a sudden it's popular to hate it now. Where was this energy like 50 years ago? Gender activism activists. This karma nonsense. Geeking out on gadget specs. B-Days. Bernie Sanders. Living in an apartment in a dense urban environment. Believing women when they say they have been sexually assaulted. Nose rings on selfies. I rarely see them where I live, but they are on Reddit all the time. Socialism. Firefly. Far left opinions. Most people are moderate. The sheer outrage about Disney as a corporation. Like, I sincerely doubt people care that much about their stock price or how cash-grabby those remakes are. Especially the kids that they market these products for. Hating popular things. Narcissists. Everyone's ex was a narcissist, when in fact most people on here are just unable to communicate and turn their hurt feelings into a clinical diagnosis for their ex. Their opinion. People on Reddit seem to think that every other man on the street has been personally victimized by his ex-wife. The legal system surrounding divorce and child support. Gaslighting, weaponized incompetence, cheating. Like, anytime someone says something in a fight, it's check their phone. They said they didn't like your favorite color because they're screwing a coworker. Like, no. The world is full of shades of gray. Get out and interact with some real humans and you'll see that. LMAO. People playing the credit card game. Mostly people just have one and don't care about points, miles, cashback, whatever. Financial literacy in general. Actually, that dating app statistics is real life. 80 of women go after the top 20 men. Politics as their main identity. Every man supposedly being addicted to porn. Redditors seem to think that everyone is utterly miserable all the time and consumed by fear about the state of the world. I can assure you that you talk to most people IRL and they're just out there living. Not sure if this applies, but pretentiousness. For example, near every French person on this app would claim themselves a food expert, and tell you that there isn't a single tin of tinned food to be found in the whole of France. I'm happy I've had the opportunity to travel and meet actual people. Expensive clothing. I hardly ever see anyone wearing anything expensive, yet Reddit will try and convince you everyone has a closet full of Ralph Lauren. Higher taxes. Intercity high-speed trains. Weed. Bike lanes. Car bans. Reddit. Atheism. Cheating on your partner. This is the most honesty I've seen on Reddit in long time. Keanu Reeves. Anime weeb culture. Trans people. On Reddit it's like the most important issue that's ever existed. But in the real world it's like the millionth thing that's on most people's mind. Hating children. Dating apps. Guys on Reddit believe in dating app data determining their romantic future like women do for astrology. Go outside and form a social circle. Jesus Christ. Communism. Socialism. Racism, sexism, homo-transphobia. The vast majority of people in the world, including ones who don't have favorable views, don't actually care that much. Fringe political groups. The amount of actual neo-communists, neo-Nazis, and KKK in America is incredibly tiny. To give you an example, more people die from cancer. These groups are getting smaller and smaller thanks to the internet calling them out for what they are and 1/6 events. I see a lot of people on Reddit accepting partner abuse. Identifying strongly with the generation you're a part of. Reddit's popularity. Therapy that is inexpensive and effective. I think lots of people who comment go to therapy over minor things have no experience with the system. Where I'm from, I know lots of people in the mental health care system who are stuck with less than a handful of condescending appointments per year. They can't afford private therapy, and without these appointments they'll lose their chance to eventually be assigned a good therapist. Left side politics. Nationally, it's about a fair split. Reddit seems overwhelmingly left-leaning. The idea that all police officers are bad or corrupt. This belief makes some sense since the majority of Redditors, myself included, are morons. Shonen anime, PC gaming, independent wrestlers, the DNC, and the John Wick movies, and the Star Wars prequels. Rule 34. Any liberal policies. It's fine. I'm not picking in anybody and agree with many of them. But this site is extremely liberal and is not reflective of society. If you only followed Reddit, you'd swear everybody was masked up, in line to get the vax, and pro-open border. The real world looks much